So, although this is about my father, I'm putting this picture in to start off with because it's quite a good place to start. This is a picture of myself, my my brother, sister-in-law, and her two sons, and my mum having Christmas. Mum's eating with a spoon, and she ate everything for Christmas that year. This is 2017, and in 2020, when I found documents at my father's house, i.e. the coroner's witness statement written and signed by my father that had the wrong dates on it, which started this all off. When I went and saw Michael, my brother, he told me he only wrote the records and did nothing else wrong. He told me twice, did nothing wrong, I only wrote the records. And it's his handwriting within the hospital records. In 2020, we started falling out about this, but I'd recorded everything on my Facebook account for before that. And so I've got everything here. And I put on here on the 5th of May, I found it odd that you stopped coming for Christmas 2015 onwards. Now, I've just shown you a picture of us having Christmas together, which is supposed to be 2017. Now, he hacked me and he removed the picture of myself and my mum and my dad having Christmas at Dad's friend Mary's, because that's where we were, and he replaced it with one of his. But the picture that he replaced it with was from 2014, and his sons were a lot younger then. So that kind of proves it's just madness that he should hack me and remove the picture and replace it with a picture of him and his family having Christmas 2017, but they weren't there. And the reason that they weren't there was that Michael had been skiing, Mike and Sally and the boys had been skiing, and he dislocated his shoulder whilst he was away skiing. And I know that for a fact because I got a message from my father saying, did you know that Michael dislocated his shoulder? Bear with me. So there we go. That's the message from my father. That's my father there. Look, this is actually about him, really. But I'm just pointing these facts out that through the whole of 2020 onwards, I've been hacked by my family continuously, and they were trying to control what I was putting out there, what I was saying, what was going on my Facebook. My old Facebook account was hacked so much that I can't actually sign in. I can't use it, but it's still there. So at some point, I will be able to get into it if the police actually did their job, pulled their finger out and investigated this crime that is the deliberate killing of my mother by this man here, who's Alan Parrish, my brother Michael Parrish, my sister-in-law Sally Parrish, and the conspirators who conspired to kill my mum and to cover up her death. And those conspirators are the coroner's office, they are the GP practice, they are the hospital, the Royal Devon and Exeter Hospital. They are my brother, sister-in-law and father. Now you can see there, thanks, did we tell you, Mike had dislocated his shoulder skiing. He's back home now and be at work tomorrow. This is from that year that they changed the picture. I'm just pointing that out. Anyway, this is actually about my dad. So that man there, bear with me. So in January 2020, I was looking after his house, or mum's house, whilst she was away on holiday in Crete with his now new wife. I feel very sorry for that lady, and she hasn't got a clue. But anyway, here we go. So this is my father, this man here, Alan Parrish. And in January 2020, whilst I was looking after the house, I found a document at his house that was written and signed by my father, Alan Parrish. And this is the document, and you've seen it probably on other videos. So this is the document I actually found at the house. And it's written and signed by my father, and it says that Mum went into hospital on a different day, had an operation on a different day, and died on a different day. And when I found it, I went and saw my brother Michael. And I said, I found this document, it's got all the wrong dates on. I was there when Mum died, and definitely not the same day, says that Mum had a broken hip, and she didn't have a broken hip because she'd walked to the car on the day that Dad said that she'd fallen. Anyway, I'd found the document. My brother said to me, the first thing he said to me was, I did nothing wrong, all I did was write the records. I didn't do anything wrong, all I did was write the records, he said. And at that point, I ordered all the hospital records. The hospital would not release them. The RD&E, Royal Devon and Exeter Hospital, would not release the hospital records to me, although they were mine to have. They wouldn't release them to me directly. And so I had to go through every solicitors of Exeter, which I did do. Now, I'm just pointing these facts out, that my father, when I was at the house and I found this document, I also found another document, and that document was this document. Now, this document is from Lindsay Ainsworth. Now, Lindsay Ainsworth is the head coroner's assistant, but she's also Devon and Cornwall Constabulary. Now, I've tried to report my mum's deliberate killing 50-something times now, and it's got to the point where the police will not do anything. They will not investigate. All of the evidence that I'm supplying to you, to the world, is the evidence that I have of my mum's deliberate killing, and she was deliberately killed by Alan Parrish, Michael Parrish, and Sally Parrish for my inheritance. Now, I have all the evidence of the inheritance that they've taken, and it doesn't make any sense that they would use the lasting power of attorney to transfer all of my mother's assets and wealth out of her account into their own account from 2015. Mum ran into a glass door in 2014 that my dad was chasing her around the house. She'd gone round and round a few times, and she'd gone through this doorway. My brother was in the room. My father was chasing my mum. I went to the loo, and when I came out of the loo, he was chasing her the other way, the other direction. Mum ran into the living room, and she went through into the sunroom, but the door had been shut, and it's a big glass door. Now, I believe that we were set up then, that Mum was being set up then. And when she ran into the glass door, there used to be a little two-seater seat that was just next to it, to the right of it, and that had been moved. It was very strange that it just so happened to be the day that had been moved. Mum ran into this door and she hit it so hard she must have flown about 3 or 4 foot off, and she landed on the floor. She had a big black eye, and it was from then onwards that she got dementia. Now, my mum used to say to me, I used to go for breakfast lots, and she used to say to me, she started getting a bit forgetful, but she used to say, I still can do all these things that he says I can't do, like ironing and all the stuff that she cooking and things like that. My dad just wouldn't let her do any of it anymore. But it was after she ran into this glass door. Mum used to say, he's poisoning me all the time. Every time I went for breakfast, he's poisoning me, he's drugging me, all this sort of thing. And my dad used to say it's the dementia talking. Now, I don't believe that that's true at all. I believe that we were set up, my mum and myself were set up. All he had to do was convince me that Mum had dementia, and then it would convince everybody else. When Mum got dementia, it was like they were telling me that she had dementia. They weren't saying, oh, it's sad that your mum's got dementia. They were telling me that she's got dementia. But it wasn't just my brother, sister-in-law, and they went on about it, and father that were doing it. It was his friends who were a family of nurses as well. One was a hospice care nurse, and the other was the maternity nurse for when my brother was born. And it was his friends. And they helped my dad to look after my mum in a weird sort of way. And they all went on and on about the fact that my mum had dementia. And they were like really, really going on about it. But from when Mum ran into that glass door, I think that was like 2013 that she ran into the door. I went travelling in 2014, and it was the last time I went travelling. But before I went, they were just going on and on about it. And when I came back, like in 2015, the year after, I signed lasting power of attorney, and I found the document at my mum's house when I found all these other documents, the coroner's witness statement and all this sort of thing. So the lasting power of attorney paperwork that I'd signed had been altered and it had been changed, and they retyped my name as Ian John Parrish. Now, my middle name isn't John, but it is my father Alan's middle name, and it is my brother Michael's middle name. Now, why would you change that on a document? I never saw any documents. They had keys to my house until January 2020, when I found all this documentation that was very, very dodgy. And I believe that they had been taking my mail. Well, I know that they've been taking my mail. And the reason that I know that they've been taking my mail was the documents for the LPA that were at my dad's house were addressed to me, but I'd never received them. So I know that they were taking my mail. This was all set up. Everything was set up. It was meticulously set up, everything. So I believe that it was a premeditated, a well-planned, meditated killing of my mother in 2018. And when my mum died in hospital in 2018, she didn't have any assets or any money or anything left to steal. And they put a fake will through it. And I've got a recording of my father saying that the will that's been put through is a fraud, but I'll have to take him to court and it'll cost me a fortune and all this sort of thing. Now, I've got all the recordings and I'm sure that I'm going to put them on this video as well. But this is about my dad and Alan Parrish. Now, like I said, we're going to go back to, this is the coroner's witness statement written and signed by my dad. But it's written and signed by my dad, and it's directed by Lindsay Ainsworth, the coroner's assistant, who is also something to do with Devon and Cornwall Constabulary. She's a police officer. Now, I believe that the reason that I'm not allowed to report it to the police, 50 times or not, is because of the fact that she is a policewoman, that she is a police officer. So I'm sure that you can sort of see this. This is the directions from that same lady, Lindsay Ainsworth. I'm just going to try and keep it as shakily, as less shaky as possible. This is, so you can read it. This is from Lindsay Ainsworth, and it's directing my father to take out any of the bits that he wants to take out, put a line through them, and then put things in to amend the coroner's witness statement and sign it where she's put the X's. And that's what he's done. He's amended it and he's changed it from mum going in on the 21st, telling me that she had an operation, though he didn't tell me what it was, on the 22nd, and then dying on the 24th. And he's amended it, and they've added 10 days, 6 days on one side and 4 days on the other. She actually died on the 23rd, and when she died on the 23rd, this same lady, Lindsay Ainsworth, police officer and coroner's assistant, she wrote a letter to the GP practice, which is this letter, and it's a face smile letter, and again it's got Devon and Cornwall Constabulary written on it on the top there, and it's a letter written to mum's GP, Dr. Hadfield. You can see it there, and it says from the coroner's office, and it's got coroner's office, mortuary, RD&E, Exeter. I'm just showing you the whole document. Now you can see just here it says that the patient, Patricia Anne Parrish, died on the 23rd of May 2018. This is from Lindsay Ainsworth. It's signed by Lindsay Ainsworth. Same police officer, same coroner's assistant. Now, I've made full complaints about this lady, about Lindsay Ainsworth. I also made complaints about the head coroner, but apparently you're not allowed to make a complaint about the head coroner. And when a coroner makes his conclusion, that's final, and there's nothing that you can do about it, which is why we're here doing this. Now, this letter was sent on the 28th of May 2018 by Lindsay Ainsworth of the coroner's office of Devon and Cornwall Constabulary, and it was sent on the 28th. Now, they say that my mum died on the 28th of May 2018, but she definitely did not. She was definitely dead on the 24th, because I saw her dead on the 24th of May 2018. And Lindsay Ainsworth identified my mum on the 24th of May 2018, along with Dr. Laith Al-Maktar. Now, this whole document is the mortuary witness statement that I received. I received everything through every solicitors of Exeter. And this is one of the documents. This is the coroner's mortuary witness statement. When a person's ID'd, this is what they do. Now, I've spoken to other places and they said they've never heard of one that's got Devon and Cornwall Constabulary written around it. Now, this is Lindsay Ainsworth. She's the same lady on the letter that was sent on the 28th, stating that mum died on the 23rd. They identified my mum on the 24th. Dr. Laith Al Maktar, the whole document is actually written by Lindsay Ainsworth because you can tell by the handwriting. I mean, the signature on there's a signature on this one, bear with me. This is a document that's in the hospital records, and that's from Dr. Laith Al Maktar, and it's got his signature on again, 24th of May 2018, the date that I saw my mum and said goodbye to my dead mum in the hospital. And it's the same day that Jo, who I know, she's a friend of mine, and she saw and spoke to me in the hospital on the 24th of May 2018, and she was, and I was so upset, I kind of left, and she wrote to me later that day at 6:47 p.m. to say how sorry she was to see me so upset in the hospital on the 24th of May 2018, the day I saw my mum dead, and the day that Lindsay Ainsworth, the coroner's assistant, had said that she identified my mum, who was dead on the 24th, but she'd also sent the letter to Dr. Hadfield on the 28th of May that my mum had died on the 23rd of May. Now, Dr. Hadfield must know, she must be complicit in the cover-up, let's say, of my dead mum. And the reason that I say that she's complicit in that is because this is Dr. Hadfield's letter to the head coroner, Mr. Philip Spinney, that she states that my mum actually died on the 28th of May 2018, when the letter that was written to her was sent on the 28th, but it's actually got the 23rd on. And she must have known, well, she did know, clearly, but she still wrote to the head coroner stating that mum died on the 28th of May instead of the 24th of May. So she's complicit as well. All of these people are complicit in the cover-up and the murder. Sorry, I'm not allowed to say that on YouTube. So the deliberate killing of my mum. Now, on the 24th of June 2021, on the 24th of June 2020, the GP practice where the doctor is, the records were last typed on the 24th of June 2020 when I'd asked for the records, and they were typed by Susan Hailstone. And on the 24th of June 2021, 3 ladies turned up to have an anniversary party. We've been through this already, but I'm just showing you again. And Susan Hailstone was one of them. That's Susan Hailstone there. And she's having an anniversary party with my brother and sister-in-law, Michael and Sally Parrish, at the shop. And my sister-in-law wrote that document saying that they couldn't understand why Ian would think there was a conspiracy between her, my brother and my sister-in-law and the NHS because of the car registration plate, which was apps for NHS. Now, Sally said in that document that she signed to the court that NHS was her friend's personal number plate, and her friend's that came was that lady there, and that's Julie Dent. She's the head chair, or she was before she retired. She was the head chair of the Royal Devon and Exeter Hospital. And this other lady here, her name's Claire Spinney. Now, Mr. Spinney, who's the head coroner, he's got the same surname, and this lady's called Claire Spinney. I put all these documents, all these pictures onto Facebook in 2021 when I took the photographs. And because of the fact that I didn't know who the people were, and I asked the question, who are these 3 ladies that had an anniversary party with my sister-in-law and my brother on the 24th of June 2021, and people rang me and told me and everything that who they were. So people from Brixham Harbour, Brixham Marina told me that that's Claire Spinney. They told me that people from the hospital told me that the other lady is Julie Dent, the head chair, or she was the head chair, and lots of people told me that that's Susan Hailstone. If you go online, you can look up all of these people. So you can type in Mr. Philip Spinney, for instance, the head coroner, and it'll come up with a picture of him and the fact that he was a human rights lawyer and all this sort of thing. The reason that I'm not allowed to report any of this to the police or to anyone, I saw my brother 2 days ago, Good Friday, I think it was Good Friday, and he said, he listed off a whole load of people, and he listed off coroner's office. He said, you've tried going through the coroner's office, you've tried going through the GP practice, you've tried going through the hospital, and you've tried going to the police, and none of them will look into it because it's not a case. Well, the reason that they won't look into it is because when you pay people off, Sally told me that, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And if you pay people enough money, they can convince anyone of anything. So there we go. My brother and sister-in-law, my father, they deliberately killed my mum for my inheritance. And that's that. There we go. So this, as we're going to carry on, that's just in case you wanted to see, or that's that letter again. That's Susan Hailstone. Again, you can look at anything on Facebook or Google or whatever you want to do. That's Susan Hailstone. That's Alan Parrish, my father, who wrote the coroner's witness statement. He wrote it and signed it on the 1st of June 2018 to the instructions of Lindsay Ainsworth. Now, all of these people have covered up my mum's death, my mum's deliberate killing, because of money and greed, which is just awful. I said to my dad and my brother that, if I'd have known that my mum had left me everything, I'd have given you the money. I'd have rather had my mum than the money any day of the week. And they laughed at me. My brother laughs at me a lot because of the fact that I mean, if you watch part 12A, part 12B, it's about my brother and sister-in-law, and it shows you, what they did and the fact that they got away with it. And my brother says, we didn't get away with anything, and you'll never find out, and you'll never be able to prove any of it. I'm only proving it to the world. I'm not proving it to anyone else. I'm proving it to the world that these people killed my mum, deliberately killed my mum, and they did it for money. And the fact that we were set up for so long, and the fact that the police will not get involved, they won't investigate. Now, on the other day, the police came and saw me, and I had a police officer came round, and she said that your father has complained that you've been putting private documents online, and he was on about this. He was on about that coroner's witness statement. I'm quite sure of that, Alan, that you were on about that. And you're concerned that I'm putting private documents on. Well, I'm putting the private documents on because the police are not doing anything. Now, I'm hoping that they will do something because, this is for the head coroner, right? It's misconduct in public office. I should imagine that that's the same thing for the police. If the police don't investigate a crime that someone has full evidence of things of, I mean, look, on the top of that, it says Criminal Justice Act 1967, Magistrates Court. Now, surely that's misconduct in public office of the police, misconduct in public office of the head coroner, Mr. Philip Spinney, misconduct in public office of the hospital, Julie Dent, misconduct in public office and malpractice for the hospital and for the GP practice. Now you, Alan, my father, I wouldn't have called you my father. I think you're just an evil man, really. I really do. I don't even look at you. You're not my father. You're just some bloke that killed my mum. And you did it in such an awful way. And you stole everything off mum before she died. Mum was rich in 2013, and by 2018, when she died, she didn't have anything left to steal. And I reckon that's why you killed her. And probably because of the fact that you were poisoning and drugging her. Now, in 2018, when I was at your house and I found these two documents, I also found 2 pint-sized bottles, one with black arrows going around, block arrows, and it had male testosterone on, and one that had yellow, white, and red or orange block arrows, and it was marked diazepam or temazepam. The temazepam or diazepam were a capsule, and it had a yellowish, whitish powder in, and the male testosterone were a lozenge-shaped, chalky tablet, and they were pint-sized bottles. Now, I've asked friends that are doctors and nurses, where would you find that? And they said the only place that you'd probably get that was in a hospital, but you wouldn't get that. They didn't even think that you could buy it online. I suppose you can buy these things online, but that's what I found in your house. Now, at the time, I thought, well, he's an old man, perhaps he's low in testosterone, we all lose it as we get older. And I thought perhaps because you'd lost your mum, you'd lost your wife of 54 years, that perhaps the temazepam or diazepam would help with that. Because I think it's like Valium, isn't it? Anyway, I don't believe that that's the case. I really do think that you were drugging and poisoning my mum, because it's weird that she didn't have anything wrong with her until she ran into that glass door. And then she didn't have anything wrong with her, but she was telling me every day that she was being drugged and poisoned, and that I should just happen to find those tablets. I wish I'd taken pictures of them. They're the only things I didn't take pictures of, but I took pictures of everything else, and I documented everything to do with this. All of your office paperwork, I documented all of it. When I FaceTimed you and you were in Crete, I FaceTimed you and I spoke to Michael, and both Michael and yourself told me where the will was. You said the will is in this drawer up at the house, and I went to find it and I couldn't find it. And when I was looking for it, I found all these documents, and all the documents were so dodgy, and it was the paper trail of what you did to take everything from my mum before she died. And then the reason that you killed her off was because of the fact that you'd already taken everything. I suppose you couldn't have her hanging around in case she got better or something all of a sudden. But I believe that you were ODing my mum. Like in 2016, before she went for her examination to test her for dementia, which is in the doctor's record, in the GP record to the coroner, I believe that you OD'd my mum on the temazepam or diazepam. I believe that you were giving her male testosterone. If you give a little old lady male testosterone, I bet that makes her really cross, don't you think? And it's weird how the signs of dementia are people being cross. I feel so sorry for Mum. When we were in hospital, it was only me and you there, Alan. It wasn't anybody else. It wasn't Mike and Sally. I never saw them in the hospital. You kept me away in the mornings, every morning. You said I couldn't go. You'd have to let your mum settle and recover. On the day that she went in, because you took her in, you drove her in your car. And she walked out of the house, down 2 steps, down the path to the car. She got in the car herself, and I helped her get her left foot in. You drove her to the hospital, but you actually came to the shop first, and you reversed into the drive. Mike and Sally were in the shop. You went in the shop. Sally came out and spoke to Mum through the window. I went and showered, and when I got out of the shower, you were just leaving. Mum was in the car for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. The documents, that coroner's witness statement, said she broke her femur. Absolute crock of shit. You're just talking out your arse. But you, Mike and Sally, set my mum up for my inheritance. Now, I've not been allowed to report anything to the police. But then if the head coroner, his relative is in those pictures with Sally, and Sally's saying that she couldn't work out why I thought there would be a conspiracy when they turned up a year to the day from when the records were written. And Lindsay Ainsworth, who just so happened to tell you how to write a coroner's witness statement, she also signed the mortuary witness statement, and she also sent that letter saying that Mum died on a totally different day, on the 23rd, the night before I saw her. I mean, all of this, it's just all a setup. And yes, Michael, you have got away with this. You have got away with killing my mum. And yes, Sally, you also have. But you're all complicit in the killing of my mum. Now, this is going to go out on YouTube, and it's going to go out on other platforms. And the reason that I'm putting it out there is because you, the Devon and Cornwall Constabulary and the Dorset Police, have not done your job. You've not investigated. If you go through it, you can see all these altered dates on the days that my mum wasn't in hospital. You can see that this just evil creature is complicit in the death, the purposeful, the deliberate killing of my mum. I said the other day to Michael, or I said to the police officer, if my dad wants to take me to court to try and prove that he didn't write this to this lady's direction, take me to court and do it. I really don't care. Michael said, you know, when you went through the solicitors and all that sort of thing, it cost you a fortune, didn't it? Well, yeah, it did cost me a fortune. It's cost me everything. Mike and Sally used to continuously say, before they took me to court, they continuously said, we're going to have you evicted. We're going to bankrupt you and have you evicted from your home. In COVID, I had to get a second job and a loan. I'm still paying everything back, and I don't care. I'd do it all again. I'd do it all again. I really would. It wouldn't bother me that I've spent every penny trying to sort it out, trying to do solicitors, trying to do all that. The fact that I did Mr. Head Coroner, Mr. Philip Spinney, I did a letter to you recently, and I was advised by my legal team that it would cost me another 10 to 20,000 to do a judicial review of you. And yet that's what should happen. The police should be investigating this. Apparently you're the highest judge in the land. But, you know, when you, I don't want to say it, but, you know, you're complicit in what happened to my mum and misconduct in public office. It's just disgusting. If this happened to me, I mean, I don't know how many other people it would happen to. It's just horrendous. I can't imagine anyone else having to go through this for 4 years, 5 years now, having to go through this, knowing what happened. I did a video in 2020 for Mr. Philip Spinney, the head coroner, saying it's called Probably Not for Little Kids, and it's on Ian's Field of Greens 2021. It's still on there now. And I say, you got the date that my mum died wrong. I was there when she died. You weren't. The Dr. Hadfield, she wasn't there. You weren't there. I mean, Lindsay Ainsworth, clearly she was there because she saw my mum on the 23rd, as in the letter, and she identified her on the 24th. But she still put through that she died on the 28th. You're all complicit in the cover-up and the murder of my mum. Sorry, the deliberate death of my mum. Anyway, this is Alan Parrish. He's my father. He wrote that to her instructions. Lindsay Ainsworth, my father, Alan Parrish. That's it, I think. I don't know if I can go any further with this, but I'll perhaps just do a picture of everyone so everyone can see. But so far, I think I've done as much as I can, really. But this is Alan Parrish. 54 years you were married to my mum. Disgusting. What a disgusting, evil creature you are. Thank you for watching.